All right, all right. Man, back on TikTok. It's been a minute. Boom, bum, bum. Man, swipe to see the bum, bum, bum. What's up, you guys? All right, hey, it's Dr. Anthony G. Beck, and I have not been live in months. It has been a minute. So it's good to be back on. Oh, I need to flip my background so it's not backwards. Hold on a second. What in the doggone getting the heck is going on? So, hey, listen, hopefully some of my, my followers, if you guys have been missing me, if you guys have been giving me a hard time, like, when are you going to make some more videos? I've been busy. I got daughters, man. They just taking up all my time. But, hey, listen, so if you're just joining me, well, we're going to be, I figured I'd jump on and do an Ask the Doctor session, okay? So anything health and wellness, TikTok myths, junk like that. Hey, sea moss, magnesium, black seed oil, all that crazy stuff on TikTok. Detox, hormones, parasites, candida, what do? Ask your question. So, hey, you got me. Get some free doctor time. Keep it professional when we talk about certain things. But anyway, so again, I'm Dr. Anthony Beck. I'm an integrative and functional medicine physician for about a little bit more over a quarter century. Thyroid. All right, first question. Majestic Drive with a bunch of... Okay. Well, Majestic, thyroid. What you want to know about thyroid? Give me a specific question. Best OTC weight loss supplements. There are no OTC weight loss supplements, classy chick. That's the big lie out there. None of that stuff does anything. It just doesn't. Look, quick background. My undergrad was in exercise physiology, exercise science, sports med. And so, yeah, I mean, I was a trainer for 12 years, so I know that in and out. You know what you do? Instead of losing weight, you gain health. When you gain your health, the weight loss just comes off effortlessly. And the whole calories in, calories out, calories deficit, that's all bogus too. None of that stuff, it compares to what your metabolics are doing and what your organic chemistry is. So classy chick, that's what it is. All right. Low hypo, and you're taking levothyroxine. Okay, listen, the thyroid is a downstream organ, right? And the thing about it is it's affected by so many things. So yes, you can take some levothyroxine, you can take some Armour, some Westhroid, and do the natural approach and stuff like that. But the thing about it is you got to ask the question, why is it low? Well, your thyroid is made up of nutrients. You need amino acids, you need vitamins, you need minerals. The thyroid is affected by your sleep-wake cycle and your circadian rhythm and how much sunshine you get in or not. It depends upon your movement, electromagnetic fields in your house, and all kinds of stuff do it. Yep. Uh-oh, is Mark here? My protege. What's up, buddy? How you doing, Mark? Yeah, guys, so hey, listen, it's been a minute since I've been on, and I'm fielding all your health and wellness questions the best that I can here on good old TikTok Live, getting back in the saddle. Hey, you guys, I got one of my proteges here in with me. If you guys see Mark Fertility, fantastic gentleman. He specializes in helping people get knocked up. That's right, having babies. So he's a balanced protocol practitioner and great person to follow. So if you guys see Mark on here, click his little thing and give him a little follow. He's down for that. Majestic Drive, thanks for the roses. I appreciate it. Oh, Dr. Stephanie's in the house. Man, my students are coming on. What's going on, Dr. Stephanie? Dr. Droskowski. So, yeah, you guys, if you have any questions, post them in the thing. So I'm going to be doing this here for the next hour or so. So stick around with me. That'll be fun. If you guys can't stick around, then you can always grab this over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/balanced protocol. We'll put the whole video in there so you can go over there and check that out. As NYC. Oh, you must have hit the button there. I need to flip my screen for all this new interface. I don't know where all the heck everything is. It's pretty crazy. Let me flip this camera. Nope, that's flipping the camera to the other camera. I'm here in my studio. There it is. Boop. Now we got it right. Now you can see balanced protocol. That's the method. All right, we're good. Hormone balancing, I need help. Okay. Chesney Wiles chesty. Okay, so here's the thing. Hormones. That's like saying I need an automobile. Well, what automobile? What hormone? Are we talking steroidal hormones like testosterone, estrogens, pregnenolone, cortisol? What's going on with that? Or are we talking about metabolic hormones? Are we talking about endocrine hormones? What hormones are we talking about, right? So give me something more specific on hormones. And here's the thing. To balance hormones, to balance them, because remember, this is balance protocol. I'm all about the balance. We've got to know what hormones we're talking about. Let's see here. As in New York City, I'm up for an hour after my first REM sleep. Not sure what's going on. Not a caffeine drinker. Okay, ooh, that's a good one. So when it comes down to circadian rhythm, that has a lot to do with a lot of systems, principle of which is your circadian hygiene. That has to do with your amount of light that you have coming in your environment. So not only in your eyes, but on your body and things of that nature. So the first thing when it comes to sleep or waking up in the middle of the night, not quality of sleep, is you got to work on your light during the day. So getting up in the morning, getting sunshine in your eyeballs, and then closing off blue light and environmental stuff like that at night 2 hours prior to insertion in what I call your sleep sanctuary, which should be cold, dark, quiet. Turn off your Wi-Fi router in your house because you're not on the internet, so you don't need it. Keeps you from being on your phone laying in bed anyways. So you get those EMFs out of your environment. You get your light taken care of. You want to make sure you go like a baby. What if any of us parents, you want to have a meal. Everybody says, oh, don't eat anything before bed. Okay, an hour before bed, make sure you have a good amount of, a balanced amount of fat, protein, and carbohydrates, and salt. And make sure that you empty your bladder, you get it cold, dark, and quiet, and sleep just makes all the difference in the world. Little things like that. But here's the thing. There's a lot more convoluted stuff based upon your chemistry and your organics and stuff like that would make a difference in your sleep as well. It's not just so simple as, what I was saying there, unfortunately. Okay. Chest, knee, probably all of them. That's a good one. Hair loss, Hashimoto's, period issues, liver, insulin resistance. Oh man, you need a total body workover. You need some balanced protocol in your life. Well, in order to balance the hormones, you need to correct environment, lifestyle, your mindset, and your nutrition. Those are the 4 factors. And so in order to do that, we got to know more about your individual case. We don't treat diseases. We don't treat Hashimoto's. We don't treat alopecia. You got to treat the patient, the whole patient. And it's not through just pills, potions, and powders. It's all in how you move throughout your life, what your mindset is. There's so many things that come into play that'll reflect in your body's organic chemistry that'll govern your hormones. Hey, if you guys want to learn more about this stuff, I've got a free course. Don't even need your credit card. You just go to balanceprotocol.com and you can take the free course, Balance Protocol Prime. It's 3 modules. It's about 5 hours of instruction where I break down what's balanced protocol and how it applies. We don't do any dogmatic stuff like, carnivore or vegan or schmegan or any of that other kind of fun stuff, right? I call it fun stuff. But you got to understand the tenets that make you unique. You are a category of one. Don't treat disease. You got to get into far more convoluted subjects in understanding what makes you different than everybody else, not your diagnosis. So balanceprotocol.com and take my free course. There's no strings attached. You got to get that good sleep. It starts everywhere. Nobody's good without good sleep. I get 8 to 10 hours. That's why I'm 51 and like to think that I'm lovely and delicious. Okay. I like you have a different approach. Going to check it out, of course. Great. Hey, geez, if you do, fantastic. I mean, at least open your eyes to a different thing. Because listen, I'm just another person on TikTok, right? And I happen to be a physician. This is my realm. But again, I'm not here to sell you pills, potions, powders, gadgets, and gizmos, and all this little silly stuff, and supplements, and hey, all you need is just some Shilajit. All you need is some sea moss. Oh, gosh, get rid of the seed oils, and no sugar, and all that stuff. I get why they say it, but it's not as simple as that. Your life is different than anybody else out there, and that's why we do things different. So I'm glad you like the different approach, chest cheese. I'm slaughtering that. So, hey, listen, guys, if you're just joining me, we're Ask the Doctor session, and anything health, wellness, anything you want to talk about, ask your questions. Try to be specific so I can give you more specific answer best that I can. And if you like this stuff, remember to follow. Put your notifications on next time I go live. You'll be able to see me and ask some more questions. Sometimes we're going to get specific on certain topics. And hopefully here pretty soon, if TikTok will give me a streaming key, I'll be able to do a split screen and show you all kinds of training and learning materials and stuff. Let you guys know about some of the labs that we do. How long have I been practicing? 27 years. 27 professional clinical years. Yep, 27 years. Now I principally just train other clinicians. I have a whole team that works with patients who come my way. But yeah. But here's the thing. Patients, you guys have been my greatest teachers, right? So that, and one thing I've absolutely learned is that you don't treat diseases. Everybody's got a different reason of why they arrived at their health complaints. What's up there, Truth Seeds? Ask me a health and wellness question. You know what I've been doing lately is watching people play Fortnite. That's right. I'm a gamer geek. Some of these guys, man, I've learned some things. So I love me some TikTok. We love grooving. What's happening? What are the main pillars of your protocol? Main pillars of my protocol. Great, man, look at these questions. All right. Main pillars of the protocol are this. First of all, you are a category of one. There's no one else like you. You have a biochemical individuality and genetic uniqueness that sets you apart from everybody else. Number two, we call it context cubed. To really understand your value and what's going on in your life, it's like real estate, location, location, location. We say context, context, context. So that's that. The next pillar is Q square, M square, right? So qualify, quantify, measure, and monitor. Everything that you do when it comes to health and wellness, you should quantify. You need laboratory data across systems biology to tell you what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, what things you have to correct. Not just, hey, listen, we're going to look at gut health. Oh, we're going to look at brain health or that kind of stuff. You got to quantify and qualify, measure and monitor, and it's an ongoing process. So that's one of the big other things. And then last but not least, pillar is order of operations. You can't just do things without a proper order of operations. Just like in math, you add, you subtract, you multiply, divide, above the line, below the line. Well, in health and wellness, you got to do things in the right order. So many people start off with working on their thyroid. Nope. That's a hormonal issue that's governed by more upstream things like your nutrition, your environment, and your lifestyle. You fix those things before you try to correct hormones, much less do any detoxifications. So order of operations would be the other one. So those are the main pillars, Chesney. Cassandra Ross, what's happening? Thanks for joining us. I'm Dr. Anthony G. Beck. I'm an integrative and functional medicine physician, and we're doing some Q&A, some Ask the Doctor questions. And again, if you guys would like to know more about Balance Protocol, you can go to balanceprotocol.com. That's my propaganda. It's my shtick, if you will. And then this recording will be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Balance Protocol. If you want to stick around, because I'll probably be on here for about an hour answering questions. Getting my TikTok time in, so hopefully they'll give me a stream key soon. Order of operations. I've searched so much, but don't know where to start. Analysis process. Amen. Man, this is built for you. Go to balanceprotocol.com and take that course. It's free. Don't need a credit card. No strings attached. You just got to put your email in there. You know how that goes. I promise never to spam you. I don't do that. But that's it. Order of operations. So many people, they start off with like, I'm start intermittent fasting, right? Or I'm going to do keto, or I'm going to be vegan. Okay, that's great, but how do you know that that's correct for you right now in your life? There's so much more in your biochemistry that you need to know. You got to do things like, when you got so much all over the place, I call it the noise and confusion of the info space, right? You get all these guys and gals on TikTok, and you know what, the vast majority of them, I think they mean well, not to sound arrogant or anything like that, but most of them have no skin in the game. They've probably, been a nutrition or health coach or something like that for a couple of years, and they mean well. But again, they love to pick a niche. That's what I call them, niche pickers. You guys can go to my TikTok dashboard there in my thread, and you can see where I talk about niche pickers. They pick this one thing and tell everybody that's the problem. Like, I'm a thyroid expert, or I'm a gut expert. grab me my chair here. Have a seat. So yeah, any health and wealth questions? Yeah, fruitivore. Hey, fruit solves everything. And, Dr. Sebi said it's all about mucus, right? Well, he's got some truth to that, but at the end of the day, it's not so doggone simple, right? But other people say, oh, fruit's bad for you because of the fructose and the liver. And then you got that fraud Dave Asprey telling everybody. Anyway, don't make me say names. But the thing is fructose is bad for you. And you got to cut out the sugar. It's nonsense. But then you have all these people who say, oh my gosh, I want 100% fruit for the last, 3 months and I feel amazing. That's right. That's called biochemical individuality. But the key is how do you find out which one is for you? And that's what we do at Balance Protocol. If you could recommend one book for patients, what would it be? I would start off with Biochemical Individuality by Dr. Roger J. Williams. That one. That'd be a great start. Easy read. It was just a fantastic book that came into my, awareness many, many years ago. So Biochemical Individuality by Roger Williams. And it's available on Amazon. And you know what? I ain't got an affiliate link to send you either. But yeah, that will give you, because you really got to understand what makes, the thing is that so many things are different about you. So yeah, it's a really great book. What's up, Teresa 12? What's up, Steven? What's up, Josh Nolan? 157. Hey, if you guys got any health and wellness questions, fire off. If you want me to give you my professional opinion on any TikTok trend that's out there, let me know. And of course, it always helps me if you give me some likes, you hit that heart, the algorithm gets me out in front of more people. A lot of fun stuff. But we're answering any kind of health and wellness questions. One of the fun things about TikTok, man, is that at least it gets, people exposed to a lot of different things. I'm not about any type of censorship whatsoever. I never thought they were going to ban TikTok, but man, it's a wonderful platform, even though there's a lot of downside to it. Sugar alcohols, good, bad, ugly with sugar. Hey, listen, some of them are great. Like, for instance, recently, you've got erythritol. There's this big study and it all came out there and it was, oh my gosh, heart disease. If you go and you look at these studies, you see this, guys? Studies finds or studies show, it was horrible. It was on patients who already had heart disease, right? So what they don't tell you is the criteria of the patient population that was in the study. So I think they have a lot of use, right? So certain things can, blow the bowels out, erythritol. So I don't mind erythritol in a little bit amounts. I like to mix mine with monk fruit extract. So monk fruit is my go-to non-caloric sweetener, if you will. Then there's xylitol, right? Xylitol is a sugar alcohol. And we do all kinds of stuff with that. I love xylitol gum after every meal. Helps, the microbiome in your teeth and your gums and keep that healthy. You can spray xylitol mist up your nose for the microbial equalization if you have problems in your nasal passages. So sugar alcohols have their place. Now, grams and 100 grams a day, I don't think that would be good, right? That's the context cube I was talking about. Thoughts on drinking ketones? I think it's silly. I think exogenous ketones and the ketone powders are silly. I think it was an entire marketing ruse to sell another pill, potion, and powder. Again, my clinical background started back in 1990, right? 1990, 93. And in sports medicine, exercise physiology. And, ketones and ketone diet has been around for a long time. It was originally, for seizures. So it does have a clinical usefulness. But the key is to understand, is a ketogenic diet appropriate for you? And if so, for how long? Sustainable over years? No, it's just not, right? There's so many deficiencies and problems that are imbalanced in there. But drinking ketones, it's so easy to make them and get the body to produce them if needed. There's no need to spend the money on the supplements for drinking them. So I'm not a fan of that. Really never. It's one of those things that I don't call it harmful. I mean, I couldn't say it was benign, but I think it's really a waste. And man, they're expensive. So I just think you could spend your money, better. So I'm a big fan of SodaStream. I do my own water, of course. I have a reverse osmosis system, and I remineralize it, and then I give it a little fuzzy carbonation. It's wonderful. Fun for the whole family. So yeah, guys and gals, I was actually looking at the data for my TikTok channel, and the vast majority of you guys are in the United States. 85% of ladies, isn't that great? Only 15% dudes. So TikTok's a trip. So yeah, guys, and gals, I'm actually answering any and all health and wellness questions. Particularly, you know what I really like to do is I like the questions about other TikTok creators and content, right? So anything that you see on TikTok, you know, one of the ones that I think is pretty funny, it kind of died off, was the sea moss thing. It has its place. I did a video on that in my feed. If y'all ever want to go check that out. So I'm here in the studio. Got all kinds of fun TikToks going to publish here soon. I haven't published a single TikTok in 10 months. It's been crazy, man. But you guys have been saying, hey, when you coming back, Doc? Well, I'm back. So, hey, listen, if you're here and you like what I'm, hanging around, help me out a little bit. Hit that like button. Give me a little heart love. Pound that button. TikTok's interesting. Their little algorithm on how they send this out to different people. And then also this time frame between 6 and 8 Eastern is when most people are supposedly on for me. So that's pretty cool. Alexis can do too. Password. Man, I love these TikTok names that are coming here. Some of them I won't say what they were. That's what. So if I didn't give you a shout out, it either went by too fast or whatever. So yeah, one of the things I had a patient today, and it was their daughter, 10 years old, really cool case, having some problems with weight, but yet not growing. Got started on some growth hormone and was taking all these supplements to supposedly help or support the adrenals and things like that. It was fun to get into that case today. Here coming up in the future, I'm going to end up sharing some of those case studies. Of course, I redact the patient's name so we keep HIPAA compliant, if you will. I know HIPAA. It's not even going to come up. Yes, so I redact all that stuff. I don't share any names, no demographics, no telltale stuff, but we could talk about the substance of their cases, which is a lot of fun. So keeping it like that. I know MP is like, whew, all right, coverage. They must be a health professional. Yeah, we got to keep it HIPAA compliant. We don't share anybody's business. Now, I do have some patients that, yeah, sure, tell them about my story. Matter of fact, I'll do a video with you if you want. Change their life. So that's right, Mark. It's a close one. Like, oh my goodness. See, I didn't say no names. This ain't my first rodeo, y'all. I've been around for a while, so I got it. No, but here's the thing. That's the cool thing is to learn cases, like to understand, the complexity of stuff. You can't just say, okay, like earlier I had a question about weight loss supplements. See, people want to lose weight. Well, I'm like, well, how about you gain health? Being overweight and needing to lose weight is a byproduct of not being healthy. So, Tina, Cam Man, what's happening? It's Dr. HEB in the house. You think you got to do a kidney cleanse or colon cleanse before liver or gallbladder flush? You know what? It's a good idea. Yeah, Mark, thanks for the softball question. It depends, right? So everything for me depends. So here's the thing. Whenever you're trying to do a liver or gallbladder detox, you got to think, well, where's all that stuff going to get dumped to, right? It's going to get dumped to the bowel. So it's good to do a mild cleanse of the bowel first. Get it moving. Make sure, you're going to be moving your bowels 2 to 3 times a day while you are, making the body start pulling things out of, biological transformation in the liver. What's up, good juju? And then you're going to be putting a lot of stuff, dumping it into the blood, which the kidneys are going to filter. Okay, so there's a difference between a cleanse and a detox, right? So detoxification is far more complex than just a cleanse. You can kind of help flush, things through. So, Mark, to answer your question, get the bowels moving, right? As you know, Make sure you do a little cleanse, little flush. You can do that with Epsom salts. You can do it with olive oil, a couple different things. But little Epsom salts, blow the bowel out, get that tube clean, and then a little bit of juice flush through the kidneys, right? So this is where I don't like the medical medium. He's a total fraud. But listen, when you do a little bit of herbs, little botanicals like parsley, dandelion leaves, cucumber, and a celery, hit you about with a little bit of ginger, kind of magnifies that a little bit. You hit that with some water, about 8 ounces of that juice mixture, and you do that throughout the day. Drink you a quart and do that for a day or two. Oh, yeah, so Andrew, Moritz. So I think that's a good idea. He's got a nice liver gallbladder flush for sure. He's been around a long time. Yes, good juju. Ask your question. I do not mind. I am here to answer questions to the best of my ability. What's up, Ash Marie? Drinking my mineral water, staying hydrated. I was talking on camera. I'll dry you out. Yeah, guys, guys, ask you questions. Ash Marie says hi. New TikTok friends. So I'm Dr. Anthony G. Beck. I'm an integrative and functional medicine physician, and this is Ask the Doctor Questions. If you want to know about surgery, I'm not your man. I don't do that type of medicine. I use cucumber for kidneys before detox. Yeah, I think it's a great source of electrolyte and certain molecules that are very, very good, that are beneficial to clear through the kidneys. I'm also a big fan of, as they say, one of my Argentina friends, yerba mate. So yerba mate is a great tea to be drinking as you're approaching to clean out the kidneys, really move things through. Some of those xanthine alkaloids. All right, so good juju. My daughter was in ER with tachy and pathological Q waves. Doc, I can't figure out what's going on. Oh, all right. Well, neither can I on a TikTok, question and answer session. But let me kind of tell you this here real quick. When it comes to heart rhythm, sinus rhythm, and things like that, and what's going on, it's hugely electrolyte based. Those are minerals, right? So so many people, due to various things, right? How you breathe, that affects your electrolytes and the autonomic nervous system and how it controls heart rhythm, right? Sometimes when people have tachycardia and their heart rate's really high and that rhythm's off, what I do is I have them take a big nose breathe out and then blow through a straw, and then I turn them upside down and boom. And what happens is it is a reset. It's a vagal thing. And what it does, it brings that heart rate and that tachycardia down. So there is a physical component to it. Also, it'd be wise to check and see what exposure to electromagnetic fields, EMF, is going on. Body voltage, excessive magnetic field from the where she's sleeping around her bed, that could be it. So her minerals, there's all kinds of things that could be coming into play. Remember, the body is super complex, divinely created, and it's so constitutionally controlled by various contexts within a person's environment and their nutrition, all kinds of things. Okay, so Celtic. So you say you use Celtic salt, NR, but here's the thing: the vast majority of people don't need to add sodium chloride or even sea salts to their diet. Now, listen, they're great as a pinch to put them into their water. Okay. Okay. And so you have a situation where there's a lot of that going on out there in TikTok. This is great dialogue. So the thing is that it's there for flavor and a little bit for function, but it's absolutely rare that anyone in an industrialized country is sodium or sodium chloride salt deficient. Potassium's another thing, right? So therein lies the trouble. But again, it's the context of the individual. So adding more than just say like a quarter teaspoon of salt to like a liter of water, when you start doing that, you can induce some other troubles over time. It just depends upon the individual. But I don't want you to think that that's just your sole source of trace minerals either. Even though I like me some Celtic sea salt. Dr. Zubkov, another one of my proteges in the house. Good to see you. Hey, make sure you guys, if you guys look in the scroll there through the comments and you see Zubkoff MD, that's one of my proteges. Mark Fertility, that's one of the people, the clinicians who's trained with me. Those are good guys to follow as well. Would you say watered down baking soda is safe to use as a deodorant? Yeah, it absolutely is, Ash Marie. But I got something better. Magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide. Lily, you can order it. Milk of magnesia. Don't go get, the Phillips milk of magnesia. This is what's in there, but there's all the kind of stuff. But no, just good old magnesium hydroxide. That's MagOH powder. And that's actually what I use. So I have it in a little poof. You can off Amazon, like the perfume powders. You can put stuff in there. And also have one that's like an old Gold Bond powder. And I just magnesium hydroxide, way better than baking soda for deodorant. You supplement potassium, magnesium daily. What potassium and what magnesium? The last name of those really determines what's going on. Salt crystal deodorant. Well, there's different ones. Check and see if the ingredients is alum. If there's an Al something in the ingredient, that's aluminum. And even though it's mineral, you don't want to put that on there. So check your salt crystal deodorant. Make sure it's not alum based. Jake Montero, PA. Is that physician's assistant or is that Pennsylvania? You're welcome, Ash. Hope that helps. And hey, listen, you guys can always, tag me or let me know in here if there's a particular question or a TikTok subject that you want me to cover. I take requests. I'm going to be going through here and making the content based upon what you guys want. So, make sure you follow. Give me a little like here if you can. Hit that heart. Pound that bad boy. And I'll do some content specific to what you guys would like. So, here to ask the doctor questions. You're welcome, Ash. Thank you. You're awesome, too. Oh, man. Shackley, you taking your alfalfa? Shackley, it's an MLM. I did a little Shackley way back in the day, right? Back in circa 1990, 91. They had a really good electrolyte. I didn't care for their soy protein back in the day, but they sure pumped it quite a bit. Tattooed kisses. Okay, tattooed kisses. Can low salt cause imbalance when walking? Well, yes. Depends upon what you mean by low salt. Are we talking about sodium chloride? And cause imbalance. What imbalance are we talking about in your, like in your gait or your walk or that kind of balance? But yes, here's the thing. The vast majority of people, okay, so it's rare that anyone is actually salt deficient. If you're on a low salt diet, which is kind of a scam, right? If you don't have enough salt, yes, it can mess up your electrolytes for sure, your electrolyte balance. So you should always go into any type of exercise or exertion hydrated. But you don't want to overhydrate because, of course, that waters down your electrolyte and forces a lot of that loss too. So you can create some hyponatremia by drinking too much water. But yeah, you got to have some stuff. But if most people, the food, we get so much sodium in our diet here in the States, it's incredible. Really, you don't have to really add it into it. Don't use any soy. I'm not a big soy fan either. Yes, when you walk. Yeah, so tattooed kisses. That's the thing is you want to check your electrolytes, and one of the things that's in blood chemistry panels and urinary analysis, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when it comes whenever you're under exertion and your balance is off, I wouldn't just limit that to salt. There could be some different vestibular issues, something going on in your inner ear. It could be musculature. I'd like to know more of that. Love you too, Mark. Thanks, buddy. Barbara O'Neill says that Celtic salt helps the cells absorb water more efficiently. That's not true. She is incorrect. Look, here's the thing. in that statement, it's oversimplified in that your body doesn't need any help to absorb the water, right? So fluid mechanics is far more complex. Yes, I'm familiar with her shtick on that, right? Sodium and potassium in the pump. Well, if you really want to understand water better, I would turn you to the work of Dr. Gilbert Ling, L-I-N-G. He's got books. And my friend Jerry and Pollock, Jerry Pollock. So Gerald Pollock. And the fourth phase of water, okay? And cells, gels, and the engines of life. If you want to know more about that stuff, you can get those on Amazon. I don't have an affiliate link for you, but cells, gels, and engines of life, and the fourth phase of water by Dr. Gerald Pollock. And then you can understand from a different point of view, right? But here's the thing. The vast majority of people don't need to be adding Celtic salt into their water in any large amounts. For flavor and enhancement, stuff like that, it's totally fine. It's great. I'm not a sodium detractor. There's a big difference between sodium and sodium chloride, right? So we can't talk about sodium as if it's the same as sodium chloride because you're taking both in at once. You have the anion and the cation, and they balance each other out. The body still has to process both of them. Yes, Celtic salt does have more trace minerals in it, which is very beneficial. I'm a huge minerals fan. But as far as just to say it helps cells absorb water, your body's going to absorb water, but just through osmosis, right? So what's more important is what the composition of the lipids are in your membrane, which those ions go across. Okay, Tattoo Kisses. When someone has inflammation in the body, how will one know and what can we do about it? Okay, well, this is a great question. Inflammation. Well, what inflammation? Like, for instance, when I lift weights and I do my high-intensity interval training and I get my pump, I induced inflammation on purpose. So inflammation can be a wonderful thing. Well, and what kind of inflammation? Are we talking about from arachidonic acid, cyclooxygenases, prostaglandins, and leukotrienes inflammation? Or are we talking about interleukin-4 and TNF-alpha? What gets lost is this use of the word inflammation. It's like saying automobile. Well, a Vespa is an automobile. A Hummer is an automobile, okay? A Ford truck is an automobile. A Mercedes-Benz E450 is an automobile. So what type of inflammation needs to be known first in order to know and then what to do about it? See, that's the big difference. That's the difference between me and everybody else. Dr. Stephanie, you should talk about omega-3, 6s, and 9s. Well, you got to ask me a question, Doc. You got to be specific. Don't get me started on 3, 6s, and 9s. What is this? Tesla? 3, 6, and 9. Which is pretty cool. It's kind of ironic. So Tattoo Kisses, I hope that makes sense. I don't mean to be abrasive on the inflammation, but so there's all kinds of different inflammations. There's a lot of inflammation that has no symptomology at all, and you don't know until it's too late. So we have to kind of know more about the patient case in order to make that determination. How to kill mold and candida in the body. Well, hey, good juju, here's the cool thing. You don't kill mold in the body. Mold doesn't at large live in the body. You get exposed to mold in the environment, which produces mycotoxins that you absorb and are retained in the body, unless you clear them out properly. But mold is not growing in the body. That's an important thing that people need to understand. Okay, that's the differentiation that all these mold experts aren't telling you. You don't have, these molds growing in your body that's in the environment. What you have is you have the exposure to the mold comes in the body. The mold doesn't live anymore, but its toxins live there, right? The mycotoxins, aflatoxins, stuff like that, okay? So the spores are not living in your body, so that's not true. That's the really cool thing. So you don't have to kill mold in the body. There's a fungus known as candida, because mold are fungus too, but candida what? There's a lot of different candidas out there. Candida dublonensis, Candida albicans. It depends upon the species of the candida. But as far as maybe if I just kind of go into your question a little bit, read into it a little bit more. In order to remove those things, you have to work through phase 0, 1, 2, and 3 detoxification pathways in the body, right? So you can't just try to kill those things, those microbes, those fungal bodies, if you will. You got to deal with how's the body going to get rid of them, and how's it going to get rid of the toxins that they produce also. 2 different things. So in order to kill them, that's one thing. Disposing of the carcasses and processing them properly through the bowels, liver, and kidney and lymphatics, different things. So it really depends upon which ones are in there, and in order to know which ones are in there, you really should do functional labs. How do we clear it out? What's out the gypsy? Well, there's certain things that are antifungal, depending on the species of fungus and and things that are in there. Sometimes we use botanicals, sometimes we use pharmaceuticals, the drugs, to be effective. Because remember, it's about clinical efficacy and safety for the patient, not just trying to go all natural or holistic, and I hate big pharma because I'm not a big fan of big pharma either, right? But listen, those are divinely bestowed molecules, and we use them with justification and prudence. So we do those. So in order to clear them out, we need to open up certain channels. So making sure the first of anything important is anytime you're trying to get rid of any microbe in the body is you have to poop. Okay, you got to work the hooter to the tutor. You got to make sure that inner tube is moving, because so much gets dumped there, right? Because we're just one great big excretion bomb. We poop, we pee, we sweat, we spit, we make boogers and tears and earwax. The body's just wanting to get rid of stuff. Sometimes that gets stagnant. So before you go killing things off, you got to open up the channels and the pathways and be able to haul out the dead bodies, right? So hopefully that makes sense to you. Uh-oh, my wife is on board. I love you, Abigail. How to open up the pathways. Oh, man, juju, good juju. Man, and it goes with the name, good juju. All right, so opening up the pathways. Well, number 1, you got to sweat. How about that one? That's one of them. Open up. What do you do to open up the exterior? You got to sweat. So saunas, right? So I'm a big fan of near and far infrared saunas. Not so much the dry saunas, but those can be well as well. But you got to get the body's internal heat up, but particularly using light frequencies. So infrared saunas get you sweating. Number 2, get the lymphatics moving, right? So we need to open those up. We do that with rebounding walks, making sure that your arms and limbs are all moving, making sure that you can get the circulation going regardless of the temperature. Skin brushing, right? Proper skin brushing, slightly on the thing, that kind of gets the lymphatics moving. Making sure you clear your poop. So you want to make sure you're pooping, you're peeing, you're sweating, you're lymphaticing. So all those things, that's how you open up the pathways. Okay, Gypsy says, taking magnesium citrate, but nothing really works. For what? Magnesium citrate. Okay, now listen, magnesium citrate, good form of magnesium. I know, oh my God, TikTok is magnesium nuts. But there's very little magnesium in magnesium citrate. The citrate molecule is very large compared, okay? So people talk about bioavailable, absorbable. Listen, magnesium citrate, once you start, and everyone's got a different bowel tolerance, right? Magnesium citrate will make you poop. It depends upon how much you take, okay? Lower doses, your body will absorb it and go into the bloodstream. But here's the thing. Magnesium citrate doesn't tend to disassociate. In other words, you don't take off the magnesium and the citrate. The body keeps it together and it stays in the blood and increases what we call zeta potential. And it has some benefit in thinning the blood and making sure there's not so much, clotting and stuff like that, okay? So there's that. Right? So you have that situation of magnesium citrate. You're never going to replete your magnesium levels with mag citrate. In other words, your body's not going to take that magnesium citrate in, keep the magnesium, and keep it in circulation. That will not happen. Okay? As far as moving the bowels for mag citrate, that's very gentle. That's on the light end. Okay? Next one up would be mag sulfate or Epsom salts, right? So opening up the bowel channel using magnesium, what that does, it uses it with fluid. So there's different things that open up the bowels. So if you want to do it from fluid and block fluid absorption from the bowel, use mag citrate or magnesium hydroxide or magnesium sulfate. We need more fiber to help bowels. Yes, so many people just don't have enough fiber. Okay, so what I teach my practitioners that I train is we do basically take your caloric intake for the day, which is your basal metabolic rate. So let's say you're at 1,600 calories. You should have 16 grams of fiber. If you're at 2,100 calories, 21 grams of fiber. Now, most people say, hey, you got to have 25 grams of fiber, 35 grams of fiber, and they artificially go too much. That can create a problem. It's not a balanced understanding. It's not about balance, okay? Fiber is fabulous. It grows the firmicute phylum of the microbiome in the bowels, right? And it produces, the short-chain fatty acids, okay? So we do need that, but you can overdo the fiber as well. You can it depends upon what fiber. We're talking about soluble, insoluble. So again, fiber is like inflammation. I mean, what do we mean? It's like automobile. Which one are we talking about? Right? But yes, fiber could be bad if backed up. Too many cars on the highway. You got it. Amen. Good juju. That's totally true. User 537.747. Okay. Is HDL 75 and LDL 201, triglycerides 84 bad? Doc said statins immediately because of LDL. Listen, and if my practitioner, Dr. Zubkoff, is on, he can answer that too. But here's my thing. Know this. HDL and LDL are lipoproteins, right? High density lipoprotein, LDL lipoproteins. I know there's this doc on here on TikTok with weird hair, and he loves to tell everybody it's all about LDL. Well, the vast majority of the LDL labs that you get, look at your lab report from your doc, and if they're not giving you a copy of the report, that's terrible. Your lab results, and you'll see the word CALC. That stands for calculated. That's code for a guesstimate. They're guessing it with it. It's not a true measure of LDL. If you really want to assess your risk factors for the number one cause of death everywhere, heart disease, cardiovascular disease, you need to do a special type of lab that actually takes a look at the species that is of the different lipids that are in the arterial walls, right, or in the arteries, right? So I can't say if it's bad or not, okay? But what you'll want, user 5375, is something called an NMR lipo profile. That's what you really want. You need to know more of the species other than that. Triglycerides at 84, that's pretty decent. I don't recommend statins at all under any circumstance for anybody. They're lame. They're all based upon a just shoddy science and big pharma wanting to sell statin drugs. You can correct lipid metabolism with diet and exercise. They know it. I know it. You should know it. You don't need a drug to do it. Okay, so that's my answer to that. Anar says, I've gotten off of dairy lately. Okay. I mean, some people can. I mean, dairy, again, that's one of those general terms. Are we talking about buffalo dairy, buffalo mozzarella? Are we talking about manchego, a little bit of sheep? Are we talking about goat? Are we talking about cow? Right? So dairy. I think dairy can be very helpful depending upon the source, the form, the dose, the frequency, and the duration. But it can be a wonderful food. Cheese, okay. Well, cheese, what kind of cheese? Are we talking about Gouda, Parmesan? All those are lactose, very low lactose, so they're not lactose. It's not a lactose issue. But listen, soft cheeses like brie is different than, say, a hard cheese, okay? The different construct, like for instance, like calcium that's in cheese, right, in dairy. So calcium gluconate or calcium lactate, two totally different calciums work differently in the body, right? Your harder cheeses, okay, you're going to have those acid-forming, calcium lactate versus calcium gluconate, which is being like in a soft cheese. So people respond differently. Then, of course, there's different immunological factors, in cheeses. So then you got to be thinking about that. So not all cheese is created equal, sourced equal, or has the same reaction in everybody's body. I handle cheese phenomenally. I don't have any problem with dairy whatsoever. And so for me, I consume it in all kinds of forms. Not every day, but not because I don't for any reason. It's just I'm a big varied and diverse kind of guy, anyways. Yana Tamara, what's happening? Tattoo Kiss, you had some great questions. I really appreciate that. Hey, you guys, feel free to ask questions. Put it right there and there if you have there's some kind of content or TikTok. If you follow me, And if you want to, stick around, come back and see me. You can also turn on your notifications if you to know when I go live. I'm going to be doing a lot more lives. I'm going to start being on here a few nights a week. Mental Health Mavericks, what's up? Rudy Zapata. Des Hendrick, what's happening? Tina Sawmiller. Man, there's some really cool names coming in here tonight. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Anthony G. Beck. I'm an integrative and functional medicine physician, and I'm doing Ask the Doctor. If you guys got any kind of health and wellness or health talk questions that you want to know, shoot them out. I'm here to rapid fire. Natural ways to treat anxiety and panic attacks besides med. I got you, user. Here it is. Ready? What you're going to do is we're going to work on you neurologically when it comes to anxiety is your breath. Because, right, when you're anxious, what's the first thing you sense to be an issue, right? Your breath and your breathing. So what you're going to do is in your nose, one great big old breath until you can't take it anymore. And then you're going to pause, and then you're going to sneak one little breath in, and then you're going to blow it all the way nice and long. So you're going to go... and you'll calm right out. It's the first thing you do. No meds necessary, okay? Controlling your breathing. Most people in panic attacks, they start hyperventilating. Remember the bag? You need to calm down. They start breathing in the bag. So, big, long, maximum inhale in the nose, pause, sneak one little breath in. At the end, you can always give a little bit more, and then long, twice to 3 times long out, blow out of your mouth, and boom, anxiety. Do that 3 times. Anxiety's gone. Coconut water, good for electrolytes. We can drink it all day. You know it is. Okay, but here's the thing. In Balanced Protocol, I have a term called fractal micronage. Like one thing might be good for one thing, but too much of it can cause a problem. Like for instance, people take turmeric because it's anti-inflammatory. Well, guess what? Turmeric can be very inflammatory to the bowel, which is why they tell you to take biopterin or black pepper with it so it can actually get out of the bowel and get into the bloodstream. And it's a COX-2 inhibitor. But turmeric is loaded with oxalates. So you can actually create a lot of inflammation by taking turmeric every day because you heard it was good for you. So same thing when it comes to coconut water. It is lovely. It is. It's delicious. It's tasty. The potassium, come on, right? Can I get an amen? So listen, it's good, but listen, drinking 2-3 liters a day every day, I don't think that would be wise, right? So yes, coconut water is good for electrolytes. It really is. It's pretty damn amazing, but I think you should add some other waters and stuff in there too, because remember, you are putting the glucose and things in there, so you want to not overly do that all the time as well. Des, you're welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. Okay, natural remedies for getting rid of dry cough. Okay, listen, you guys, I'm going to give you the secret. Get in close, okay? Anytime you have a throat issue, okay, it's because you got a nose issue. If you're coughing... it's your nose. If your throat's dry, it's your nose. It's true. Look at these nostrils. I'm telling you. All right. So the thing is, the trick to a dry cough is to clean out the sinuses, to bathe and wash and things like that. I'm a big fan of something out there. It's called a navage. Anybody ever here use a navage? N-A-V-A-G-E, navage. So a little bit of salt pods. See, look, there's some Celtic sea salt that can come into play. Boom, through the nose, irrigate the nose. That allows the microbes to balance out. You can use that sugar alcohol called xylitol spray in your nose and keep that bathed and correct that mucosa in there. But here's the thing. If you're taking, like, say, for instance, everybody say, oh, I'm taking some N-acetylcysteine, some NAC. Well, the downside to NAC over time, a higher dose, like, say, 500 to 1,000 milligrams every day, it can dry out the mucosa over time. Even though it's so beneficial in so many things, it can cost you in the end. So, good juju, that's the kind of thing like that, okay? Let's see here. Wim Hof breathing technically works wonders for me. And it can, depending on your chemistry. But I say, listen, people will Wim Hof their ass off, and I've seen it just rock people's metabolics and be very detrimental because it does change the blood chemistry and pH too much in people who are already overly alkaline. That's right, I said it. Everybody tries to tell you to alkalize. That is not true, okay? It depends. So you can overly mess with and create a dysregulation in your autonomic nervous system by Wim Hof breathing too much. I've had so many patients go to his retreats and things like that and say, man, it was wonderful. Yep, great. Until it wasn't wonderful. So Take it in a balanced understanding. That's the thing that you need to understand. Let's see here. I haven't heard that type of breathing. Okay, well, there you go. Do you have any docs in California who you'd recommend that do what you do? Well, here's the thing, Ash, is my team sees patients all around the world. Currently, we have patients in Australia, Dubai, the UK. So we see patients everywhere. So there's that. The first thing you'll want to do if you're interested in doing what I do and learn more about my propaganda, right? Because we all want to sell you something. I sell knowledge and information and patient care, okay? But I have a free course. Doesn't cost you nothing. Don't get your credit card out or nothing. You can go to balanceprotocol.com, and take that course. Okay, and that will give you a big understanding of our framework and how we approach it and what we do. I've got doctors all over the world that I've trained in Balance Protocol, and I can connect you to them once you've gone through that. And if you want to do a discovery call where we can talk about your case, no cost or obligation. That's the cool thing. There's no bait and switch here. You don't need your credit card. Okay, I'm not here to sell you that. But yes, I have docs in California, but they can see from here. That's which is really cool because we're here in Florida. All right. Let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. Man, I'm getting all kinds of great questions. Keep them coming, y'all. I love you to death. This is wonderful. This is what I'm on here for. Do you know anything that can cause the ribs to painfully expand upwards? Yeah, well, here's the thing. Structural, Des, the thing about it is I need more context when it comes to that. What makes you say that the ribs are painfully expanded upwards? Oftentimes you have problems with the vagus nerve, which can cause spasms. You could have vertebral subluxations that can refer to the ribs and mess up your dermatomes, and that can make you feel like they're up, but they're not really there. Sometimes it's referral pain from the liver or the gallbladder that make you feel like you have that. We kind of have to have more context to be able to say that. Back spasms, same kind of thing. And every time the muscles are spasming, the first thing we have to think about is hydration. Are you properly hydrated? The other thing is have you stretched out and taken the trauma out of the muscle? There's something called trauma release exercises, okay, or tension release exercises, TRE. You can look those up. That's another way to release that tension out of the muscles. Back spasms are sometimes psychosomatic and stress, and we do that. They spasm because you have the cortisol or the adrenals kick off, and that can cause back spasms. It could be electrolyte imbalances. It could be excessive body voltage from the EMFs in your environment, sleeping in a magnetic field. It could be from your cell phone in your back pocket or on your hip. There's so many things that could be coming into play. Hey, Tattoo Kisses, that's great, man. Spring water and coconut water, you're rocking and rolling. Moto Mom 33, could flavored sparkling water become bad for kidneys? You'd be hard pressed. It depends upon what the sparkling water is, right? But if you're like using a soda stream like I do, and I put my reverse osmosis remineralized water into here and then make it sparkling, not going to have a problem in the world for the kidneys whatsoever. Not going to be an issue. Flavored with what? Those chemical bombs like Mio drops that have like the chemical coal tar derived dyes. Yes. So it depends. Starfish Jen, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Ruth Cusick, is there such thing as alternative care for ADHD? Yes and no. The first answer is yeah, but it's bull-snickety, okay? Because I don't care for alternative medicine or things like that. So I'm just going off your words, Ruth. Give me a little help here. ADHD is a construct. See, that's what I call the name it, blame it, claim it, tame it game, right? They want to give it a name, and then they want to blame it on something, right? And then they need you to claim it that, I have, it's very possessive, I have ADHD, and then they want to tame it with something. What is ADHD? It's just like my work with the military special forces. They call it PTSD, another initial thing. Whereas they don't have PTSD, they have a series of traumatic brain injuries. So some kids have had a slip and fall, a concussion from sports, riding a roller coaster and have what we call counter coup, and their brain sloshes in there. And then they start having these issues called ADHD. So there is a way to resolve the imbalances that manifest in what someone would call or diagnose ADHD. How about that? Okay. Letty 08. Okay, here's a question. How do I get rid of popping and clicking like water bottle crunch? Sounds like water, bottle thing, crushing all day, every day. Where? Is that in your ears, your neck? Where's that at, Letty? And Melaz says, how often should you take NAC? You should only take it when you need it. That's how often you should take NAC. Now, on a daily basis, if you took, I don't know, 50 to 100 milligrams, okay, I think that could be how often. I think it'd be safe to cycle through a round of NAC for its benefits when it comes to antioxidants and liver health and all kinds of other fun stuff. A couple, 2-3 times a year, run through, for 1 or 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days, 100 milligrams a day. I think that'd be a nice little nutritive that you could pop through there. That's what I would say, Melos. Thoughts on zeolite for kids and adults, plans for life. Listen, zeolite is a fantastic binder. Here's the problem. Let me go into that product out there of zeolite. That's those little drops for kids, TDS or whatever. That's bull snickety, okay? It's not enough. Zeolite has a potential of, but again, are we talking about naturally created zeolites? Are we talking about the synthetic ones? There's context for that. Then it's the size. Zeolites can be absorbed from the GI into the bloodstream and chelate and bind various chemical or molecular species of things, but it's dose dependent. So the little drops, nonsense, okay? But it has its place. So yes, I will use zeolite in heavy metal detoxes and some and different things, clinical application. But just taking it because it sounds good, I think that's kind of silly. Slippery elm bark is good for clearing up. Yeah, you know what, Des? You can actually take a little bit of a slippery elm bark infusion, and you actually can run that through your nose. I don't recommend doing it a whole lot because it's kind of bulky, and I would filter it afterwards. But yes, it can clear up the sinuses. You can take it orally. And it kind of helps nourish the mucosa in the body, particularly the GI, which can have some upstream benefit. But I think there's a bigger thing for the sinuses than slippery elm. Let's see. Let's questions. I'm scrolling, guys. Oh, man, keep your questions coming. This is fantastic. And hey, listen, you guys, if you if you can't stick around for all night, right, because I got a few of you here, you can always go to youtube.com/balance protocol, and I take this recording and we upload it to our channel. How can you tell if there's no circulation going on in your feet? Is it a certain color? Well, it can be a color, but I wouldn't say that if you'd say no circulation, because if you had no circulation, you'd know because they would discolor, they would go purple and they go black, and you'd have, dead limbs. But if it's improper, typically if you have questions on circulation, we actually will do either an ultrasound or we'll do an echo. We'll use sound, and we can. In other words, you can medically or clinically Doppler and just tell if you have clots or poor circulation in there. As far as just the temperature, like if you have cold legs and feet, you could call that poor circulation, but we'd really have to kind of find out what's going on inside the body. But one of the best things to do that is to test through proper labs what your blood chemistry is doing, and know how different things, from how you're methylating to what your mineral status is, to a bunch of different stuff. But making sure that when it comes down to it, light is so good for circulation everywhere. So sunshine on your feet and legs, and if you don't have that, you can get a UVB lamp. The one I recommend is called a Sperti, SPERTI. It's available off of Amazon. So you got to have UV light on there, and also infrared. Infrared is great for circulation and stuff like that. So I'm a big photobiomodulation guy. Ash, you're welcome. Is gluten really bad for you? It can. And see, that's saying gluten. Well, gluten from what? All grains are the seed of a grass and therefore have a gluten. Okay? Rice has a type of gluten. Oat has a type of gluten. Rye has a type of gluten. All grass seeds, okay, grains, have a type of gluten. So when you say gluten, is it bad for you? Are we talking about wheat gluten? It can be, but it depends upon the whole thing. Gluten is not the problem. It's the source of the gluten, okay? Because if you take a GMO wheat sprayed with Roundup and make that flour and eat that, the gluten can be a problem. If you get some nice durum semolina pasta over in, Italy and eat that, not a problem. So it just depends on the source, form, dose, frequency, and duration of the food that contains the gluten. How do you get out of fight or flight mode? Hey, Tattoo Kiss, is that, the first thing is breathing, okay? I showed the technique earlier, but basically you're just going to take a long inhale out of your nose all the way to the top, and then pause, and then take one more small one. It's like this. And then 2 to 3 times as long of an exhale. Do that 3 times. You'll come right out of fight or flight mode. Your autonomic nervous system will love you for it. What does the neuro test protocol test for? Well, Mama D management, not sure which one you're talking about there, if you can give me some clarification. So there's different neurological tests. They can do nerve conduction tests. They'll stick needles in you and see that's whatever. There's, there's ultrasound, different neuro tests. That just depends. Best way to make sure calcium is going to the bones instead of the arteries. User, great question. So you should get a calcium score. They can, there's that. You can also do a blood lab test called ionic calcium, not just your calcium in the blood, but ionic calcium. So you could do that. But here's the thing: calcium is the principal cation and the biggest, most abundant mineral in the body. If I've always said, if you ever want to just fall asleep, you go to PubMed and look up calcium channels. Okay, so the thing is calcium is a big topic because it depends on what type of calcium. It depends upon how you're eating it and consuming and how much of it and what's the last name. Calcium gluconate, calcium lactate, there's all kinds of calciums. The body's intelligence puts it to the bones, and calcium is a healer. And so if it's building up in the arteries, it's because it's getting stuck as part in the gauze that's covering up the rupture that's inside the intima of the artery. So your calcium is always going to be there, okay? And it's going to get to the bones. But the body uses calcium to buffer all kinds of biological and organic acids. It does a bunch of stuff. So you can't really say best way to make sure calcium does. It will on its own. So that's kind of a big subject. Leah Rich 89, do you believe in fasting? Do you believe in fasting? Of course I do. Fasting is a fabulous technique. But here's the thing, as with anything per Balanced Protocol, you have contraindications. There's a lot of people who have no business fasting, okay? Talk to diabetics, okay? If you have certain neurological conditions, don't be fasting, okay? So fasting can be done well. I will tell you this, never, ever, 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 ever dry fast, okay? There's no upside to dry fasting. You should always fast with water. And then how long you go, okay? After you fast, let's say it's statistically around day 9, you start to auto-intoxicate, and it's a bad thing. So fasting can be horrible. But one day, 24 hours, a week, fabulous strategy to imply. Every 3 to 4 months, a 3-day fast, water fast, phenomenal. The data and the science that supports its benefit is just fantastic. So I love fasting. Going more than 3 days, it clinically has application, okay? Because everybody's talking about autophagy, okay? Autophagy is going on all the time. You don't have to fast in order to induce or turn on autophagy. If you fast, it does increase its rate and volume, but you're presuming the body has the ability to deal with all those dead cells and stored toxins. Here's the thing. If you fast and you ain't moving your bowels and your kidneys aren't clear, you're going to auto-intoxicate. It's something called enterohepatic recirculation, right? And the same thing, your kidneys will recirculate. So fasting is wonderful. I am a fan. I do believe in it. But the context of the individual patient who is fasting needs to be determined. There's a right way and a wrong way, and you just don't do it for the sake of doing it. However, having said that, I don't mean to all doom and gloom or gaslight. 24 hours and just water only is pretty safe for the vast majority of people. Going longer than that, different story. Okay, legit. I don't believe in pills. I believe in natural remedies. Pill for one thing causes symptoms for another. That's true, legit. However, I can tell you this, as an integrative and functional medicine physician for 27 years, some pills are necessary, okay? Some of those pills are made with various botanicals, okay? But here's the thing. Prednisone, certain antibiotics, they have saved lives. So I'm not a pharma guy. I don't like them either, but I'm not afraid to use drugs with prudence and monitoring and always with an exit strategy, okay? Anytime you start taking any type of pill, you should know for how long and when you should stop. And that goes for all kinds of stuff too. Same thing for magnesium. Everybody says, oh, you should take magnesium every day for the rest of your life. That's bogus. You can create all kinds of problems by taking endless magnesium. I see it clinically all the time, all the time. Let's see here. Boop, boop, boop. This is awesome. Yes, natural power for ASD. Plants for Life. You're welcome. Tell us, King and Water Machine people, tell us what the King and Water Machine people do not tell us. Okay, I'll tell you that in 1776. Hopefully you're still here. It took me a little bit to scroll down to that. Listen, I saw King and Water come on the scenes years ago, because remember, I'm going on almost 30 years. So, and I've worked with a lot of patients, and at net, it's horrible in the end of the day. How people have benefited from it, sure. But here's what they're not telling you. Number one, it's not a filter. It takes tap water, runs it through a filter that is carbon or charcoal, but it adds calcium sulfite. Look at the back of the box. You'll say it right there. It's adding calcium sulfite to tap water, then running it across platinum plates, which split a hydrogen plus stream and a negative OH stream. So it's electrified, okay, electrocuted tap water that had a molecule added to it. So that's what they don't tell you, okay? They say it's molecular hydrogen. Molecular hydrogen is the acid stream. The alkaline stream, okay, is the negative OH, alkaline, okay? So they're not telling you that either. It is not molecular hydrogen water. Not only are they not telling you, they're lying to you. You don't need an $8,000 K machine. Stay tuned, because I got one and I broke it apart. I have videoed it. I've done a lot of tests, and my feed is going to be full of Kagan Cult Cash videos very soon, okay? So that's that. So it's an MLM scam. There's no such thing as medical grade water. No hospitals use it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Don't drink Kangen water, okay? What can be done for burning mouth syndrome? Well, B. Huffington 12, burning mouth syndrome. It depends. See, remember, that's a syndrome. Let me tell you guys this. Anytime you ever hear the word syndrome out of a doctor's mouth, that means we don't know what the bleep it is. They call it a syndrome. Chronic fatigue syndrome, burning mouth syndrome. Syndrome means they don't know. Burning mouth syndrome, what they're basically saying with that, it could be all kinds of things. It could be a latent microbial infection. It could be parasitic. It could be heavy metals. It could be mycotoxins. It could be some of all of those. It could be nutrient deficiencies, specifically a severe B6, possibly a B1 or 2 deficiency. So you have to know what the biological terrain of the individual is and how it's presenting for this burning mouth syndrome. I can't say that because I don't deal in diagnoses, okay? Ruth, ADHD, not wanting pharmaceutical drugs, recently learned about neuroplasticity, looking further into that. And that's fine, but here's the thing, right, Ruth, the thing about it is with ADHD, as with anything, okay, it's really important to know the status of the individual's biological terrain. Their minerals, their vitamins, their amino acids, their fatty acids, how often they're moving their bowels, what's their autonomic nervous system like, if there's EMF in their environment, what's their sleep-wake cycle like, what's their mindset like, do they have hobbies, do they have connectivity to individuals, to society, to different hobbies. There's mindset in there. So there's so much to that ADHD thing. Neuroplasticity, of course, yeah, there's various little things that we can do and exercises for the brain. There's MMDR. There's basically things that we could do with the eyes. There's lenses. There's different colored lenses that we can use with different tints to actually mitigate what the brain is doing and how it's receiving signals. There's lots of stuff. Okay, what does bioengineering mean in foods? Bioengineering is basically a term to where what they're doing is they're taking a certain structure of a substance, like say an amino acid sequence that makes a protein, and they're manipulating it, right? So oftentimes when it comes to bioengineering stuff, that's a term for genetically modifying it. So you'll see that like on cereal boxes, the genetically engineered, whatever, instead of genetically modified. Let's call it bioengineering. Bioengineering is basically a cleaned up term for genetically modified. And so they're just playing with different characteristics of that particular food. If they want to make it have seeds or not seeds, or if you want a thinner skin, some of it's fine. And listen, there's a difference between GMO or bioengineering something versus creating hybrids by breeding two different plants together. I'm not afraid of breeding plants together, right? As far as messing with their genes and putting it back in through like CRISPR technology, I'm not a big fan of that yet, okay? Plans for Life, great questions and answers. These are great questions. You guys, I love you all for that. I appreciate you guys being here. Mom23, FSH is 27.2 in the face. Why it might be high. Follicular stimulating hormone, not menopause. 37, doctor suggests birth control. You have to get into your own unique story, right? So FSH it's multifactorial, okay? So I don't know if there is some type of if you're holding your cell phone on, are you using ear pods, and you're constantly putting radio frequency into your brain, and of course it's creating that stimulating hormone to the body. So it could be from wearing iPods, right? Or what are they called? They're your ear pods, right? So putting radio frequency constantly in your auriculars, your ear are one of the first things that's grown on the fetus. I mean, it's connected to the whole neurological system, right? The whole body is mapped out on their ears. And if you're wearing, radio frequency EMF bombs on your head, that can do it. If you have a history of traumatic brain injury or car accident, a slip and fall, that could do it. If you've had even sexual relationship or physical trauma, that can do it. If you have mineral imbalances, that can contribute to it. There's so much to it. You have to look at the whole person, not just the one lab. Okay, so Legit says, when I used to take pain pills, I felt like they caused more pain. They absolutely can. They totally can. Just by the sheer rebound and stuff like that. So the chemistry. So different pain pills, like let's say here's a pain pill, acetaminophen, right? So, we know that's a toxin to the liver. When I was in med school, the first autopsy rotation I ever did was on a patient who committed suicide by taking we found the Tylenol all in her stomach. So, So yes, pain pills can do it. Opioids can do it. There's different things like that. It can actually cause pain later, okay? I'm a big fan of CBG in most pain syndromes, but, even that can create a problem if it's too much for too long. But I'm doormat with vitamin D. You're dormant vitamin D, so I have to take that, LOL. I don't know about that, Legit. Vitamin D, listen, don't talk about that real quick, you guys. Listen, I love some cholecalciferol, okay? But I get mine from the Florida sunshine. You see, I'm not old and wrinkly and, I cut myself shaving. But anyways, I'm not all liver spotted up or anything like that. I don't have wrinkly skin. I just turned, 51 on Saturday. But all these people are popping vitamin D pills, and you got to understand, it has deathly consequences to it over time. It is not benign to be taking, all these high IUs of vitamin D over time. And people are trying to chase, you need 60 to 100 nanograms per deciliter in your blood value. No, you don't. That's your storage form of D. You need to know what your active form is, 1,25 hydroxy. So don't be popping vitamin Ds, and don't listen to anybody who's telling you your gene test says that you need to take vitamin D. That is bull crap. Telling you your VDR is broken or a mutation, and therefore that justifies taking vitamin D. That's crazy. People are selling people like nuts. Don't even get me started. Is distilled water better than spring water? Tattoo Kisses, I don't think so. I think distilled water is fine because it's free of everything. But listen, the body doesn't contain any pure water. It has water that's all kinds of minerals and electrolytes in it. Distilled water it has its, you can consume it, but I think you can do it I have a distillation machine in my clinical practice because I use that distilled water to, make various compounds for my patients and products. But drinking it, that's fine, but you should remineralize it, right? You really should have a good total dissolved solid somewhere, minimum of 100. I like mine on the heavier side, like 600. Unless I'm gonna go to a Gerolsteiner, and I'm like, anyway, so I'm gonna start. So I love me some water. I wouldn't say, is it better than? I would say no. So is distilled water better than spring water? No. Let's see here. Thoughts on 35% hydrogen peroxide protocol to heal body. Good, Juju. You're so cool. Yes, I love me some hydrogen peroxide. Okay, but man, it can create a problem. You can overshoot it. Now, I don't know what protocol to heal the body that means, but that's an oversimplified thing. Just like anything, it has the ability to heal. You don't need to consume 35%. I use for my patients. We add it to water, so we're actually diluting it by major factors. Don't consume 35% hydrogen peroxide. It's great to put in a septic tank. I mean, it will dissolve biologicals like you would not believe. Holy crap, does it dissolve stuff. But yes, there are protocols for using hydrogen peroxide that can be clinically useful for a great amount of people. Just like MMS, So there's a lot of different things that can do that. You're welcome, Buffington. G. Buffington. Hey, listen, I'm descended from a Buffington. That's my Cherokee ancestry. How do we get all the let me see, the question was, how do we, sorry, scroll. I'm doing this on my little phone here. How do we get all the B vitamins a day without supplements? Food, plants, primarily. Guess what? I'm gonna bend your noodle. Grains, lentils and legumes. You know those foods that have lectins and phytates and anti-nutrients? That's all bogus, by the way, okay? Ain't nobody eating raw beans, okay? And you cook them, as you should, all that's gone. Okay, good quality sources of grains. So B vitamins that way. That's what I recommend. So eating varied and diverse. Beans, lentils, legumes, grains, nuts, seeds, meat. Okay, animal flesh has a good amount of B vitamins depending upon the ones, particularly the red meats. So eating food. But you got to quantify. You have to do nutritional labs to find out if you are deficient or not. But listen, Balanced Protocol doesn't have any dogma. Here's what we say. You eat everything. I'm from North Carolina. You might hear a little twang. I live in Florida. But we eat everything from the hooter to the tooter, okay? So the thing about it is if it doesn't intoxicate you, make you crap your pants, throw up, or give you an adverse reaction, you can eat it, okay? So plants and animals, all of them. That's all of it. Dairy, fruit, nuts, seeds, grain, animal products, all of it. You eat everything. But you need to find out what your status is. And that's what we teach people at balanceprotocol.com. Balanceprotocol.com. I have a free course. And you guys, that'll teach you my propaganda. Okay, balanceprotocol.com. Tell you all about what my principles and tenets are. You can go watch me. It's about 3-4 hours worth of videos. You don't need your credit card or nothing. You can just go to there. Balanceprotocol.com. Go take the free course. Thoughts on HCG for weight loss? Gathered in creative love. Listen, listen. I have 4 National Medical Board certifications. One of them is in anti-aging and regenerative medicine, which I received back in 2005. So that tells you how long. I've taught biological hormone, identical hormone replacement therapy for a long time to thousands of docs around the world. HCG has a clinical place. They're making it very hard to get these days, okay? But for weight loss, I am not an advocate of the HCG diet and injections. That is a stream of revenue for doctors to sell you a bunch of bull snickety, okay? So no, you gain health, you'll lose weight, okay? You eat the food, you lose weight. I kind of sound like the old, when was that, Nutrisystem? But listen, you find out what your system's biology, what your biological terrain is out of balance, and eat food, real food, varied and diverse, all of it, plants and animals. You exercise, you get your circadian rhythm right, get the EMFs out of your environment, plenty of sleep, laugh, love, frolic, play. Oh my God, no one plays anymore. Got to go have a good time. Remember, get in the kingdom of heaven, you got to be as a child. That's your clue. Go have fun in life. Eat some food. And it's okay to have sugar and some cookies from time to time. And things. Don't be dogmatic about any of that kind of fun stuff. Don't starve yourself. Okay, can gelatin help joints? Plans for life? It can. Yes, it can. The answer is yes, it can. But that doesn't mean take it forever because, you start taking that, you can imbalance your amino acids. Too much proline, and you can cause some other problems in the amino acids. So occasionally, or incorporating it into other food so you have a better amino acid profile, yeah, you sure can. I mean, don't get me started on that. But yes, it can. Gelatin can do that. Thoughts on the COVID vaccine for children? I am a proud anti-jabby-jab physician. Okay? So the answer is no. Not for kids, not for elderly, not for nobody, no how, in any way, shape, or form. If you guys, that bothers you about me, that's fine. Okay? But I know the science. And you can go to youtube.com/balance protocol, and you can see I called it all for what it is. They took down so many of my videos all the way back in March of 2020. So no, none of the jabby jabs. Happy level up day. Oh, thanks, good juju. I'm a redhead, so vitamin D is already naturally low. Vitamin D is script. Yeah, so it can be, but listen, I don't care who you are, even if you're a redhead. Listen, I got Irish in me. When I was born, I had red hair. But you can get it from light. Please, for the love of God, you guys, get your vitamin D from free UVB irradiation. Science is based upon that, okay? And it's phenomenal. So yes, yep. And all you need to do is just get what we call your meds, right? Your minimal erythemic dose. Just enough radiation, UVB, that's right, it's radiation, ultraviolet, to turn your skin a little pink. You'll never burn, and you won't wrinkle, okay? It's great, okay? Do you believe any supplements? Yes, Erica Garner. I actually own a nutraceutical company, okay? So, yes, I believe in supplements, but supplements that are substantiated upon clinical data, okay? Not just because they sound good. Oh, I'm going to take some NMN because I want to live forever. I'm going to take some turmeric because it's anti-inflammatory and does all stuff. Oh, I'm going to eat some. Blah. It's crazy, y'all. Anytime you take a supplement, it should be substantiated by clinical lab data, and you should have an exit strategy. But so many patients are like, well, I felt so much better taking that supplement. Okay, great. Well, now it's time to stop. You got to stop. There's got to come a time when you don't just keep taking, but, oh, doc, it makes me feel better. And I started feeling better when I took this. If I stop taking this, therefore, I'll be bad. I'll go back. That's not true. Once you replete your nutrients, you're done. But don't just go, oh, I'm going to take some ashwagandha because it'll do this. I'm going to take some lion's mane because it'll do this. I'm going to take some exogenous ketones and some raspberry all this stuff. Oh my gosh, guys. The pills, potions, or powders are nuts out there. People take these that's why we call it holistic medicine, because you take a whole list of supplements. That's your big indicator that you're with the wrong doc, the wrong practitioner, if they sell you fixes in the pills, potions, and powders. If they're not teaching you diet, lifestyle, mindset, along with nutrition, they're idiots. I'm just going to tell you, okay? So, thanks for the happy birthday. Yep, turned 51 on Saturday. That was awesome. Ooh, tattoo kisses. All right, Flo Rida, fellow Floridian. What minerals do you use? I got a jar of dirt. Hey, listen, what minerals do I use? Plants. That's what I use. But as far as minerals are concerned, I make a fulvic, humic, shilajit mineral complex. See, I believe in supplements. But as far as minerals are concerned, I don't use them. I don't use more than what I add to my water. So like in my water, oftentimes I'll put in a variety of different things like potassium bicarbonate. Sometimes I'll make my fuzzy water in my soda stream and I'll add magnesium hydroxide, which turns it into magnesium bicarbonate. And then I'll add a pinch of Epsom salt, which is a little mag sulfate. And I'll just kind of do minerals. I have a variety of powders. Like by my coffee bar, I have my mineral bar. I got different ones, right? So a range, it just kind of depends. But I'm a big fan of plant minerals. So like chlorella, spirulina, wheat grass, barley grass, those things. Sea moss, right? But if you want to do sea moss right, just grind that thing up in your coffee grinder and take the dry powder and put it in stuff. You don't have to make the gel. You don't have to do that. So that's what minerals I use. Black seed really is good for you. It can be Fonzie. It is, but it's not benign, okay, because you can overdo it. You can create different fatty acid imbalances in your membranes by taking too much. But listen, the vast majority of black seed oil out there is garbage, and it's low in its active stuff. But yes, really that good for your health? I'm going to say it can be. Do I take black seed every day? Absolutely not. I do not. What do you add to your water? Yep, so I think I just said that. I don't know if you said that came up later. Can you say something really fast? Mike, who cheese itchy? My coochie's itchy? Is that what you want to say, Hamburger Mun? My coochie's itchy? Yeah, that's a funny TikTok. You didn't get me. I just played right along, though. The funny ones is getting the old people, the old ladies to say my coochie's itchy. That's hilarious. That's pretty funny stuff. You sit outside every day in Florida when we have it? Yeah, absolutely. I get my sunshine on. What do you think about chelated copper supplements and the need for it? Well, listen, I don't use chelated copper. I use copper in a couple different forms, copper orotate, copper glycinate, principally. But copper can be beneficial, but what you got to do is you got to test your copper. Remember, always test first. Okay, so you want to take a look at plasma copper and you want to keep it right around the value is about 100 to 105. You start doing more than that, you can create imbalances, you can derange zinc. So don't just take copper because it sounds good, okay? But, you know, a milligram a day, but here's you get it from food. If you eat grains, lentils, legumes, nuts, seeds, you know, oysters, shrimp, and you get plenty. That's what's beautiful. But if you have questions on it, you should quantify it with a lab. It's really simple. Thank you. I had turmeric every day in tea. Yeah, don't do turmeric every day. I'm telling you, it's just a little bit like a little turmeric, and I don't think that's going to be a big issue. But taking it like in capsules and dosing it, I don't recommend that at all. I've seen it clinically help mess up too many people. Would like to go to medical school, but don't know what to major in. Any advice, Amy Neal? You know, the best thing is I think when it comes to pre-med or what you're going to major in or something like that, so it depends upon where you're going to go to school and how you want to scoot through it. If you want to go through zoology or you want to go biology, organic chemistry, there's a variety of different things. That's I'd have to know way more about you to kind of recommend. Do what you will enjoy. So many doctors out there just hate life. They just suck. You know, you go through residency and all that kind of fun stuff, and it just beats you all to death to see 40, 50 patients a day, and it all started with college. So pick something that you'll actually be happy and that'll give you satisfaction in life. Got to get that dopamine hit. What flavoring do you recommend for SodaStream? Fruit juices, berry juices. Okay, Chlorella, Spirulina, blue Spirulina is what I use because it's kind of fun. What magnesium for pre-diabetes? You really can't, Sammy K, you can't really take a magnesium for anything. That's a big misnomer out there. So we don't treat diseases like pre-diabetes. Like, well, what does that mean for you? What does that equal? Who told you pre-diabetes? So there's context that needs to happen. Magnesium is a very important mineral, but you should test your RBC, red blood cell magnesium levels, and you ideally want to keep it between 45 and 50. More than that, you can create problems. Less than that, there's a lot of systems that won't use it. So it all depends upon you. So that's a big difference. So the balanced protocol approach is very quantified. It's very specific to the individual, right? So there's that. You know, there's tons of people talking about magnesium out there. But here's the thing, like magnesium glycinate, it's like very little magnesium in it, but it's a great form. But most of them on the market also have magnesium oxide. So that only stays in the bowel. It doesn't even really get into circulation. You know, my favorite is oral magnesium chloride and magnesium bicarbonate, but that's a different story. Yeah, I'm a little old school. Plans for life. What do you think about kratom? Mayday, mayday, mayday. Kratom is a useful clinical tool. The problem is people build up a tolerance to it, and kratom depends upon what species. Are we talking about? Green, red? You know about that probably. And then also, I like to balance kratom for patients by using a blend of CBD and CBG, so that way you get upsides with very little downside. So it depends upon that. But particularly for pain and stuff, kratom can be a useful tool for a great many of patients. You have up and down white blood cells. I'm healthy. Why? Had forever. You know, user 157943654321. I don't know. It'd be hard to ask. Thanks for the question. But up and down white blood cells, well, it depends upon, because remember, white blood cells, just like red blood cells, they need nutrients to be made, right? Right? So you have to take a look at various things. You can have a B12 deficiency. Okay, and which white blood cell are we talking about? Are we talking about neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils? Where are they? Inadequate folate, inadequate B12, B6, all that can create all kinds of anemias when it comes to white corpuscles. So I'd have to know more than that. Your dietary things, if you live in bad EMFs and you got your cell phone on you all the time, that can do it. Parasites can affect it. There's a bunch of things. What did you major in? Sports med, exercise phys. Bought a soda stream to get off Dr. Pepper. That's great. Yeah. Because, oh man, I love me some Dr. Pepper. It is good too. But yeah. When do you take your prereqs? What year? It just depends. It's just, you got to balance it out. Like when you're going through school, you have to be thinking of the long run, right? Because, you got all those other silly little things like calculus. So like I love chemistry. I love that kind of stuff. So as early as you can, but don't stack them all up at once if you're going to medical school. That's no good. I get feet cramps. Well, listen, that's a great time to put some magnesium chloride on there. But here's the thing. Okay, so magnesium oil can be very, very good. I make magnesium oil with magnesium bicarbonate, but not with flakes. Okay, don't be making your own. You guys, just so you know this, don't be getting your butters and your oils from mixing up magnesium flakes plus water. I can go on that later. But anyways, soaking your feet in Epsom salts for feet cramps, but stretching. And then there's something in traditional Chinese medicine called gua sha, where they have this hard stone, jade, or bone, and you create a rash, redness. Also, photobiomodulation, a nice little 660 nanometer light on your feet. That could be helpful. Quartz, Jesus does love me. Jesus is my homeboy. Do you treat patients in Florida? We treat patients all around the world, Katie Sheffield, all around the world. I got them in all kinds of countries and stuff like that. And you can go to balanceprotocol.com and take my free course. Doesn't cost you nothing. Just want you guys to learn about that. And then there's opportunities to reach out to me and my team if you would like some of our help. What do you think about Mounjaro? What about it? And what about specifically? I know hey, I love these questions. You guys are amazing. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. I really want you to kind of tell me more specifically about those kind of things. If you're asking about a question like, what do you think about it? I go, it's kind of hard for me to say. If you're talking about like the diabetes medication, I don't like it. Chasing A1C, listen, I don't like, hemoglobin A1C value lab at all. It's horrible. If you really want to take a look at what your risks are when it comes to blood sugar and diabetes, you need to get something called Glycomark. Look that one up, okay? Why don't you make videos anymore? I've been busy. Shelby Johnson, hey, that's a good question. It's been 10 months. Well, I'll tell you why. Here's the truth. Because I train other doctors. I have a preceptorship where I train doctors just like me in balanced protocol around the world. So that keeps me super busy. So there's been that. There's some other things, but that's the big reason why. Because whenever I'm on here, it just takes up it takes a lot of time. And I love you guys. And I'm back though. I'm back. You guys are going to see me a lot more. I got all my things in order. All that's going to be great. Iron is low. Any recommendations? Shark Low 1. Always remember this, you guys. Iron is governed by copper, okay? It's rare that someone actually has low iron, okay? Unless you're bleeding. Now, ladies, yes, if you're menstruating and you're losing blood, yes. But even then, listen, iron is in everything. It's in fruits, it's in grains, it's in nuts and seeds, it's in animal flesh. So many people don't understand that iron metabolism by far and away is governed by copper in the body, okay? So when someone says the iron is low, I need the context which makes them think that their iron is low. I have to push back on the presupposition that iron is low, okay? We have to take a look at a full iron panel, and then we always have to look at copper and zinc in order to understand what iron is really doing. Everything has side effects, Sammy Kate. That's exactly right. It does. Yeah. And I'm glad you liked my session. Come back, follow, hit some hearts. I appreciate you guys doing that. What's your opinion on HIV meds and kidneys? Michael Cobb. I don't like HIV meds. I am an HIV detractor. Okay. I'm a good friend of mine was Christine Majori and Dr. Duesberg and Carrie Mullis. Okay, Mullins. So the thing is he died. But I haven't liked Fauci for a long time, and the reason why I didn't like him is because all of his lies about HIV and AIDS, okay? If you guys want to know my opinion, go watch House of Cards and the truth about AIDS, okay? And you'll see what my opinion is on that. I think HIV meds are horrible to the body. Protease inhibitors rock so many people. You'll see them with that sallow face. You know, it's rough. Not only just the kidneys, but everything, right? So, the other side of AIDS, that's another one. House of Cards. I like that. Sammy K, I'm glad you think I'll be back. I'll be back. Tell your friends. Tell them to come follow. Have a good time. Do you have nursing trainings? I train nurses in my preceptorship. If you have a medical or clinical background in anything, yes. You can go to balanceprotocolinstitute.com. So that's my clinician training thing. So I do train nurses, yes. It's a big commitment. Is there such thing as a naturopath nurse? No, not really. Not really. Amen, brother. Yes, I'm a nurse. That's cool. Nurses rock, man. You guys freaking frontline. You're the ones that work your asses off. Make us look good. But I'm trying to get as many nurses and doctors out of, conventional grind care and into their own health consulting business. So that's what I do primarily. All right. Well, hey, listen, you guys, man, a lot of you all in here. I appreciate it. I love you. It's wonderful. It's nice to be back. Like Tony Stark, it's nice to be back. What did you say about the HIV thing? Where can I find your opinion again? Okay, on the HIV thing, I do not subscribe to the HIV/AIDS hypothesis at all. HIV is a ubiquitous, benign exosome. Okay, the guy who discovered it, the late Luc Montagnier, he agrees with me too. Dr. Duesberg, Carrie Mullis, who invented the test, in PCR, and Christine Majori. So, the other side of AIDS, go look up that documentary, and House of Cards. Start there. Watch those two, and that'll give you my opinion on it. Learning for me is a lifestyle. It's true. Always be learning. That's neuroplasticity. That's anti-aging, right? Okay, I'm HIV positive, been undetected since when I'm on, Oof. You guys know I got a CYA on certain things in here because people report and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's a touchy subject. But I'm just sharing my pure opinion, not giving medical advice. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. It's okay if everybody doesn't believe me. That's fine. I tell people, don't believe me. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusion. Remember this. You're the boss. No doctor is the boss. We all work for you. You can hire and fire us at will. And that's the most important thing. Make decisions based upon research, prayer, meditation, however you want to come to your conclusions. But if ever you're here, I'm going to give you my professional opinion. There'll be a ton of other people that will just say, well, I'm crazy. And that's fine too. But at the end of the day, people who tell you what you should think are the ones you got to look out after. Okay, I'm telling you to open your mind and research and question for yourself. That's what I do. Well, you work in insurance now, thank God, and I don't deal with the CV-19. Yeah, insurance, that's a rough Ponzi scheme. I'm not a big fan of that either. Do you believe most of us have parasites? Sammy K asks. Well, I can go on the data, and the data is about 80%, but that 85%. But again, parasite, okay? I have 2 parasites. My daughters. No, I love them to death. I'm just kidding. So the thing about it is so we all have a form of a parasite. If you have a family member that's furry or has feathers or fins, you got a parasite. No. So parasite. Listen, intestinal parasites, blood parasites, brain parasites. That's a big term. I believe that most people are exposed to them. Yes. Do they stay there? No, not necessarily. Okay, but 98% of the people on this app telling people about parasites are so wrong and detrimental, it's crazy. To effectively go after parasites, you cannot just do them with herbs. You have to use pharmaceuticals, guys and gals. I'm just telling you, okay? But it depends upon where they are. So I have a protocol for parasites that I do and stuff like that that's medically supervised. But yes, a lot of them, parasites are real. They're everywhere, man. If you got pets, they licking your face, they putting their booties on your pillows and waking you up in the morning. You know how it all goes. Yeah. Farms, if you're in the, oh man, it's a lot. So it is an issue, but hopefully that answers your question. Case management, yeah, that's tough. How can I get off blood pressure meds? Crystal Williams. My doctor told me if I lose 20 pounds, I could probably come off. But here's the thing. Yeah, so that's physics, right? So there's compression. But you got to find out what is the root causes, it's rarely ever singular, of why you have elevated blood pressure, okay? But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you guys one thing real cool. So many people don't have high blood pressure that are told they have high blood pressure, okay? If ever you're getting your blood pressure tested, okay, whether you're doing it at home or at whatever, let me tell you some guidelines here real quick. Number one, before you take your blood pressure on your arm, we typically do it on the left because it's closer to the heart, right? You have to have been sitting for at least 5 minutes. No talking, no heavy thinking, no drinking, no eating, nothing. To get a true number. Second thing, your arm has to be level with the deck. Your arm has to be out. Number three, it has to be assisted. Somebody else holding your arm. You can't hold your own arm up and take your blood pressure. Make sense? Your posture has to be sitting upright. Your feet need to be down on the ground. There's so many elements to properly taking blood pressure. Okay? If you're going to the doctor's office and you get the white coat syndrome and you're going there taking your blood pressure, first thing you do, and they sit you down, and the medical assistant or whoever, and they put that cuff on you, and they start talking, oh, how's the kids? And then that ain't a real number. And they will make decisions of medication prescription based upon a faulty lab. You don't even have hypertension. So question the diagnosis first, okay? But if you do, because you have different issues when it comes to your arteries, your kidneys, your weight, your electrolytes, lack of exercise, you can also have elevated blood pressure because you have a Wi-Fi router that you sleep in all damn day and you're getting, microwaved all to pieces, right? Driving in a magnetic field right in the back seat of a Tesla over a battery, and there's so many things that come into play. You can get off of BP meds for sure. 90%, 95% of the time, we can absolutely get patients off of them drugs. But you got to do things different. I have a microscope. I've seen them. Oh, yeah. Well, those are the ones you can see, right? I've done, phase contrast and dark field microscopy for many years, taught lots of doctors. So, yes, parasites are there, and you can see them. Yep, you can see them. All right. My mother has that and stopped coffee. She's fine now. No high blood. Yeah. And you see what I'm saying? There's so many things to it. Okay. But, listen, we can use hypertensive or antihypertensive medications temporarily as a stop-loss gap until we correct our environment, lifestyle, mindset, and nutrition. Bam. Trace minerals help lower BP. Yes. Yeah, see? Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Vest, exactly. Mineral deficiency can lead to that. See, so there's only 5 causes of every disease known to mankind. It's nutrient deficiencies, stressors, microbes, allergens, and toxins. That's it. If you go to balanceprotocol.com and take my free Prime course, I break it all down for you. It doesn't cost you nothing. All right, you guys, listen. TikTok family, I love you. I'm going to let you go. It's time for me to spend a little time with my family for the night. And I appreciate all these things. You guys are awesome. Hit that heart. Helps me out a lot. You know how that goes. Okay. What's the cure for stress? Breathing, prayer, meditation, play, exercise, sunshine, movement, orgasms. How you like that? That's your cure for stress. All of them. Doctor's orders. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off. Appreciate you hanging out with me. You can put the notifications on to let you know every time I come back on. You guys follow me. I love it if you comment on my other videos in my feed and you tell me it's something that you want me to do. I've been off of TikTok for about 10 months. I'm back in the saddle. I'll be back in here several times a week. We're going to do some lives. It's going to be great. I'm going to teach you guys a bunch of things. As soon as they give me a stream key, I'll be able to do some showing you of different labs and pathways and really bring the learning to you. But meantime, balanceprotocol.com. Go there. Check that out. What do you recommend for reflux of acid, C-Juna? Well, it depends. It depends, right? The food that you eat, how you breathe, what's the state of your hydrochloric acid in your stomach, your enzymes. We use everything from enzymes of slippery elm to calciums, but not Tums, and mastic gum. There's all kinds of things that we can do, different foods, aloes and so forth. There's lots of stuff. That's why you haven't been on FYP. I know I haven't. I've been missing in action, Ash. Please forgive me. I repent. I beg your forgiveness. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Sammy. You call it pop too? Sody pop? There's different foods that can contribute to it, but you should be able to, have the occasional soda pop and coffee and spicy foods and not have a problem with reflux. Can I do a one-on-one consultation with you? Yes, you can. You guys can always go to balanceprotocol.com. Go through the Prime course. At the end of that, you can schedule a discovery call, okay? No strings attached, 20 minutes. We can talk about your case and see if we're a good match and other options like that. So yes, that's your one-on-one consult. That's what I'm here to do. What's this guy selling me? Me, access to me and my intellect and my method known as Balance Protocol. That's what I'm here for, right? To help you guys get off of drugs, prevent disease in the first place, resolve chronic disease, clear up the noise and confusion of the info space. So not selling you all the pills, potions, and powders, right? And telling you to starve yourself and all this other kind of fun stuff. That's what I'm here for. So you can get a hold of me there. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon. Okay, oh my gosh, they want me to Botox my stomach for not. Don't do that. Save Botox for your face. I love it, okay? Hey, Dr. Anthony, can you send a link to the $595 unit? I was on the one consult with you. USA Diabetic. Oh my God, did that not go out to you? Oh my God, let me double check and see what's going on. I've been changing some stuff up. Yes, I can send you that out. Huh, nice to see you there, brother. I'd say your name, but we're incognito. You're giving love and care. Oh, Mama, I appreciate you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you guys soon. Keep smiling. Live life in balance. And if you want to learn how to do that, hang out with me and I'll show you.